by more than 1 percentage point, whereas the Philippine Monetary Board has only done so by a 1/4 percentage point. With this, investors tend to favor the US as their money will have greater yields. Amal's husband is a seafarer whose remittance increased by about 5,000 pesos when converted, but she said this is still not enough.
Ganun pa rin, kasi mahal yung bilihin eh. Kahit sabihin tama na tumaas ang dollar, mahal pa rin yung bilihin.
Central Bank Governor Felipe Medalla said prices of consumer goods will continue to go up faster if the peso depreciation will not be curbed, given that the country imports a lot of food items and oil. That's why he said the Monetary Board is ready to increase key interest rates by 50 basis points next month. Some experts believe that dollar supply in the country will somewhat stabilize in the fourth quarter as the import season ends and remittance money comes in. But the problems of volatile foreign exchange and high consumer prices are not expected to end soon as the war between Russia and Ukraine rages on. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, we are One News.
Meanwhile, Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry President George Barcelon says the Philippine peso must remain at a manageable level to keep the rising inflation at bay. In an interview with a Big Story, Barcelon added that the inflation was cost-induced because of the Russia-Ukraine war. He added that if peso levels become unmanageable, prices of fuel and other commodities may also steadily rise.
Basically, the inflation were cost-induced because of what's happening in the geopolitical war in Russia and Ukraine. Fuel price, oil has gone up, all commodities, food commodities, and coal has gone up. And most of, for our needs, those are imported. And the fact that the peso has depreciated is primarily because we do have to do some fiscal actions.
But Barcelon says wage hike is not the answer to inflation. He added if wages will be increased, it will only lead to higher production costs and job loss.
Any wage increase will cause higher production costs. And this has been of concern, but what's important for us is really to sustain the economy, to sustain the jobs that we have.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. In other news, billionaire Elon Musk has announced that he will be terminating his $44 billion deal to buy Twitter. Musk camp claims Twitter has failed to respond to their multiple requests for information on spam accounts on the microblogging site. Meanwhile, Twitter's chairman Bret Taylor maintains they are committed on closing the transaction with Musk and that they will pursue legal action if necessary. Japan's longest-serving Prime Minister Shinzo Abe died yesterday after being shot in the chest. But he has left a legacy of his trademark Abenomics and aggressive foreign policies. More in this Bloomberg Quick Take.
Former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was Japan's longest-serving premier. What is his legacy? Background. Born in 1954, Abe was the first Japanese premier born after the country's defeat in World War II. He began his political career in 1993 when he was elected to take over his father's constituency in the southwestern prefecture of Yamaguchi. Abe was part of a political dynasty. His maternal grandfather was PM Nobusuke Kishi and his own father was foreign minister. Number 2, Abenomics. When he came to office for the second time in 2012, Abe launched an unprecedented effort to revive Japan's flagging economy, what became known as Abenomics. It was based on a surge of monetary easing and government spending. Its success propelled his LDP to 6 straight election wins, making Abe the country's longest-serving prime minister with more than 2,800 consecutive days in office. Abenomics helped bolster corporate profits and kept unemployment near its lowest in decades. The Nikkei stock average was twice as high when he resigned in August 2020 as it was when he took office. 3. Foreign policy hawk. Abe sought to end apologies for past imperialism and reinterpreted the country's pacifist constitution to loosen restrictions on the military. He nonetheless managed to stabilize relations with neighboring China. Abe rushed to meet U.S. President-elect Donald Trump in 2016, establishing a relationship that helped Japan avoid the worst, though not all, of the trade and security spats that other U.S. allies endured. Shinzo Abe, 1954 to 2022. He is survived by his wife, Akie Abe.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 10:15 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.